Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they want a relationship? I was raised by parents who believed, religiously and just culturally, in rigid gender roles. Dad should work, mom should stay home with the kids. I'm the only girl and have 3 brothers. Because of their expectation I'd stay home with kids, they never valued my education, educational achievements or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest, and by the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to the college of their choice. With my parents fully covering tuition, books, an off-campus apartment and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my younger brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college. I did so in secret and got accepted with a partial scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until a week before I left, with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave to me that their parents bought them for college. I took engineering, and had to work, take on debt and struggle. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child, and they asked to meet up. We met at a park, and they said they were sorry if they caused me pain, but would like a relationship now. I asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate, and just said they wanted to move forward. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could prove they were sorry by forwarding me the $100,000 my degree and college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mom burst into tears. My dad said I wasn't being serious and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful. I don't think so at all. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Hi from another engineer, from a family filled with rage that she has all the talent that the boy was never up to. As far as I can see, your answer to them was perfect. It was very fair, and if they have fixed their appalling bigotry issues, they would be falling all over themselves begging you to take the money. Since they clearly have not fixed their bigotry, you don't want them around your child. Never, ever poison children by allowing bigots in their presence. No exceptions. That includes your bigoted brothers. Edited to add, I have a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate all in engineering. You have no idea how angry this makes them. Hopefully you will too and we can all watch the bigots faint from sheer rage together. Bwah ha 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 ha. Exactly, they aren't sorry for how they treated OP, they just want to be able to have access to their grandkid. Not the a-hole, that's a generic sorry you're upset non-apology. They are just around now because they want to influence the baby. The $100K ask is fair, if they have the means to pay it. And even if they don't, they somehow made it work for the other 3 siblings. That said, OP, what on earth are you thinking letting these people around your kids? Wow. I would typically say that you would be the a-hole, because expecting money from family is never a good thing, but I am making an exception here. No, you're not the a-hole. Being singled out like that because you are a woman is gross, and it's terribly unfair that your brothers got a free ride and you didn't for that one fact. Good on you though, for making your own way in spite of them. For the next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to talk to my sister unless she pays me? Why I despise my sister. As first-generation immigrants, my family, my father, my mother, my older sister and myself, spent our first 2 decades in Australia dancing to and fro, across the poverty line. Late in her high school career, my sister decided she wanted to be a physician. But she didn't have the work ethic to get the necessary grades, so the only offer of enrollment she received was from a private university. For context, in Australia students are entitled to a loan that will typically cover the entirety of their course fees. One exception, are courses offered by private universities, as private universities charge a lot more than their public counterparts. In order for my sister to attend this private university, my parents would have to come up with approximately $300,000 Australian dollars over the course of her degree. I'm sure you can imagine how difficult this task would be for a couple earning minimum wage. But my parents loved my sister, so they did whatever it took to enroll my sister into this medical school, even if it meant taking on crippling debt. To make ends meet, both my parents started working 60 to 80 weeks. The hours took their toll on my parents, both physically and mentally. Put it this way, one day my father lost a finger in a workplace accident. And he was overjoyed. Overjoyed. Because he would receive compensation for it. He was ecstatic that he could trade his finger for a freaking measly $25,000. I had always thought that once my sister graduated, she would pay my parents back. She did not. Not one single freaking cent. Instead, She went gallivanting around the world, buying expensive designer items, and eventually moved interstate. She barely even bothered to stay in touch. Why I believe my sister owes me at least $200,000. I graduated from university 4 years after my sister. For 3 years after graduating, every cent I made went to paying off my parents' debt, so that they could go back to working normal hours. Over the years I've probably given them $200,000. It's been 7 years since I've graduated university now, and my family is in a much better place. My parents are debt-free, and can work standard 35-hour-per-week jobs. We're financially comfortable for the first time in our lives, and everything is fantastic. Enter my goddamn sister. A few months back she broke up with her boyfriend. I'm not aware of the details, but she moved back to our state and back home with our parents. My parents are beyond happy to have their daughter back. And they've asked me multiple times to talk to my sister again. But as far as I am concerned, my sister owes me $200,000, before I will even consider being in the same room as her again. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister is a leech. Talk to her very clearly about why you feel she owes you money. State your case, and then go forward from there on. Your parents are leeches also. They took your money, all your money, and now have the audacity to get on at you about your relationship with your sister? Nope. Not the a-hole. I don't think OP's parents are leeches. OP did not mention anything about her parents asking her to pay the uni fees. It is very common in immigrant families to have filial piety. It makes sense in this context that OP would, very generously, take on some of OP's parents' debt, in order to ease their suffering. In my experience, this sense of duty in adult children is sometimes difficult for my non-BIPOC friends to understand. The family unit is also generally much tighter, and OP's parents welcoming OP's sister back into the fold and wanting harmony also makes sense to me. That being said, OP is not the a-hole. OP's parents are also not the a-hole. They simply placed a massive value on their daughter's education and were willing to go to great lengths to provide a better life for her. In Australia it's unusual that a parent would take on that university debt long term. This begs the question if there was any communication or agreement between OP's sister and OP's parents with regards to tuition payments. OP's sister needs to consider her parents and her siblings, by extension, financial situation and rectify it. Not the a-hole. Australia isn't like the US. She could have worked hard, gone to a regular uni like NSWU or RMIT or Monash, gotten an HSC debt, and paid it back herself as a doctor. It's not like she would be struggling to pay something with how much she would be earning. If you helped your parents pay her debt, she definitely owes you and should be told as much. Even if she didn't get the necessary HSC Year 12 marks at first, she could have started a different degree at a public university then transferred over, or potentially done a post-grad. I know a lot of doctors who did it this way. Unfortunate sister is selfish. Not the a-hole. Listen, I didn't understand at first. You paid for your sister's debt, right? You didn't have any debt of your own, you just paid what your parents owed, right? Definitely not the a-hole. You took care of your parents when your sister just walked away. Now for the last story. Would I be the a-hole if I send my parents to jail? My 29 female parents have always been in financial trouble, something that I have never been able to understand, because they both have a really generous salary, more than 3 times my own. Because of these financial troubles, my aunts, uncles, and grandma have had over the years to lend them money. We were evicted a couple of times, that I know. We have had the water, the electricity and the internet cut. Many things, that over the years I admit have affected my emotional and mental health. All of this has made my relationship with my parents very difficult over the years, more when they would take advantage of me, making me pay for many things with the money that I earned working during holidays to pay for college, or making me call my grandma to ask her for money, all of it while my mom used to spend money whenever she could in purses or jewelry. In the moment I became an adult, they started to sign on the bills under my name without my permission, mostly because their credit was so bad that the companies wouldn't allow them to sign with their own names. When I figured it out, I asked them to stop but they just lied about it and I just let it go, because I couldn't deal with it. Fast forward to the present, because of the Rona situation, I was looking forward to the money from my income tax return, because my salary has gone down, so this money would have helped a lot. Instead of it, I received a letter from a courthouse saying that the money has been confiscated. I immediately phoned my mom, and she said that she didn't know anything about it but she will fix it. Since I don't trust her at all, I called the court myself, and then they explained me that during the last year there has been a process against me by a company I owe money to, from unpaid bills. All the papers had been sent to my parents and they had signed and taken them. The debt was not paid with the money from the tax income, so part of my salary from now on will be confiscated too until is fully paid. So, my parents stole my identity to contract a bill under my name, didn't pay for it, and when the company claimed the debt through lawyers and a judge, they kept all the papers from me, which is also illegal, apparently waiting for all of it to be fixed by itself. My mother said that it was her right to put it under my name because I am her daughter, and it is my duty to help with the family burdens. Since then, and after really nasty words from her side and my sisters, who says that I am ungrateful and selfish, I haven't spoken to them, and I am in the middle of a global pandemic with my salary already low, paying for a debt that it is not mine. My friends and boyfriend say that I should talk with the police and stop all of this, because otherwise, they will keep doing it, and I am afraid they will. So, would I be the a-hole if I speak with the court, even if it means that my parents, 70 and 63, could go to jail? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole a million times over. Take their butts to court. In the meantime, freeze your credit. Also, your parents failed you. You deserved, and still deserve better. Goddamn, if there's one thing OP does, it's freeze her damn credit. Easy, quick, and free. Then head over to r/personal finance and get some advice from a more specialized crowd. Not the a-hole for sending 2 people guilty of fraud to jail. They made their choices and have rationalized it. You've suffered for it and will likely continue to suffer for it, since you don't really know the extent. Your sister has likely been victimized, too, but they have her convinced that fraud is normal because it's family. BS. Get a lawyer. The extent of it is what worries me. They've basically ruined OP's credit, who knows what other loans they've fraudulently co-signed her on. Going through the only way for her to clear her name. No real other choice. Not the a-hole. This is identity theft. It is going to affect your credit, your ability to obtain certain kinds of work, rental housing, mortgages, student and other loans, etc. for a very long time. The longer you let them emotionally blackmail you into not dealing with this, the longer you postpone your own financial stability and security. The odds are very low that your parents will get jail time. You will be dealing with this for years and years to come. The sooner you start coping with it directly, the sooner things will begin to be straightened out. I am so sorry that this happened. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.